Civil rights icon John Lewis is lying in state in the Georgia State Capitol building in Atlanta tonight. His funeral is set for tomorrow at the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. Former President Barack Obama will deliver the eulogy. Former Presidents George W. Bush and Bill Clinton are expected to be there as well. Tonight, Leon-Bibb honors the legacy of John Lewis, always in the movement and never wavering.
John Lewis was the embodiment of courage and commitment toward justice. He was a crusader for right. Of John Lewis, we mourn his passing. Before political office and in political office, the late congressman worked tirelessly for right, pulling and inspiring America to a higher trajectory. John Lewis was an icon in the movement. When he was 23, he was the youngest speaker at the historic 1963 March on Washington.
We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now.
In his early 20s, he was fighting for the right for blacks to vote in the South. Lewis, who organized the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, marched with Martin Luther King and 600 other peaceful protesters across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, that challenging March 1965 day. It was there the peaceful approach was confronted by the violence from nightstick-wielding police officers. Beaten to the ground was John Lewis, whose skull was fractured by a policeman's nightstick. The news was flashed around the world of the day which came to be known as Bloody Sunday. Lewis was also in that group of young people who protested at racially segregated Southern lunch counters. He was always in the movement, never wavering. Elected to Congress, where he served for more than 30 years, he was a humble man who was secure in himself and his work for justice. The gulf between what was written in the U.S. Constitution and the real lives of blacks and other people of color was indeed a deep, a wide, and enormous gulf. When John Lewis and Martin Luther King and hundreds of others walked across that bridge in Selma, Alabama, they were marching for right, and they were prepared to die if it came to that. On the 50th anniversary of the march in 2015, John Lewis did it again, this time with President Barack Obama.
When parents teach their children what is meant by courage, the story of John Lewis will come to mind.
My daughter and granddaughter met the 17-term congressman in his Washington office. He graciously posed for photographs. He was so humble and such an icon, said my daughter. In the halls of government, he was widely hailed as the conscience of the Congress. A man who could walk with kings would never lose the common touch. His body was taken across Alabama's Edmund Pettus Bridge one last time, before his body lay in state in the Alabama and Georgia State Houses, and in state at the U.S. Capitol building. A man of high moral character, John Lewis for a lifetime strived to lift the nation and its people to a higher plane. A transcendent figure, even in death, his legacy inspires. If someone complains that to achieve something takes far too long, think of John Lewis. If someone complains that the struggle for rights is just too difficult a struggle to make, think of John Lewis.
We're one people, we're one family.
For 3 News, this is Leon-Bibb saying, when I hear the words courage and commitment and truth and valor and bravery, I will think of John Lewis.
Wow, me too, Leon. We will have live coverage of the funeral of John Lewis tomorrow, right here on Channel 3, starting at 11 a.m.